And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Point, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek The Next Generation, and of course we'll have a Picard segment. I'm just letting the audience know right now.
I love how you leave it like this suspenseful moment, and what are we going to be? Of course we're going to be back.
It's true. Today's episode of TNG, season 6, episode number...
I'm thinking 7, is it?
7.
I think. Wait, sir.
Rascals.
I'm on the wiki.
I'll just say the name of the episode. Yes. Oh, wow, you're really good. Episode 7, Rascals. How do you say it? Rascals or Rascals?
Rascals, I think.
Is it Rascals?
I think it's Rascals.
Do you know what a rascal is? Or a rascal?
A rascal's like a scallywag, like
is that the same? Is that the same as like a street urchin? Or like,
so I gotta say, a scallywag sounds a bit like a Pokemon.
It does. So does a rascal. So
does a rascal. Catch that rascal.
Were you ever exposed to the Little Rascals? Do you even know what that is?
I don't know what the Little Rascals is. Is that like the Rugrats?
Yes, actually, it's a lot like the Rugrats. So you don't know who Alfalfa is and like all those characters?
Alfalfa. I've heard references to that a lot. I've heard that.
Well, it's a food, right? It's like a grain, alfalfa. But there's a character named Alfalfa, and he and the Little Rascal.
Alfalfa. Is that with like a PH?
Yeah, I think so. Or it might be with an F.
You're wrong, sir. Alfalfa. Yes. No, actually, that's the plant. Alfalfa character. That looks like a plant that I wouldn't eat. Character. Alfalfa character. Okay, so this is black and white.
Yeah. You're like, wow, this is old.
this is when the world wasn't in black and white. Okay.
So the Little Rascals, your mom might know. So you have homework.
Maybe.
You have homework. Audience, if you don't know what the Little Rascals is, you have homework.
I need to call my mother and ask her about that.
But I don't even know if they were referencing it.
The Little Rascals in 1994. That's not that old.
No, that's... Well, it was a movie. Yeah, it got a remake. But it was like a 1930s... or 40s era TV or movie, like a series of movies.
The original shared universe. The original cinematic universe. I joke.
Good grief. Computer, cut off access to Sean's computer console.
Damn it, I'm blacked out.
Put on children's access. All right.
Hello. Do you want help?
It should be of note that Adam Nimoy directed this episode.
It is of note. It's noteworthy. It's in my notes.
Right. So we'll definitely be talking about that. So I said before we started that I would do the summary. Do you still agree, or are you feeling really rascalian or whatever?
You can do the summary. Right, do you have like an intervention to make on the Doctor's behalf regarding this episode, or just the fact that he declined to talk about the episode? Does that speak for itself?
I think that speaks for itself. Actually, it could be that he's indifferent to it. It could be a 5. I don't know.
Is that your estimate rating?
Yes, it is. I'm estimating the Doctor's rating at 5, but it doesn't count. It has to be whatever you and I come up with.
He's not here. If you're not here, then
yes,
your estimate rating doesn't count.
If you don't show up, you don't get a vote.
There you go. That's how it is.
You can get commentary afterwards. He does send his regards, Sean, and he actually loves just listening to us. If we actually have one audience member out there, it's him.
It's the other host.
It's the other host.
That's not too bad, is it?
No, not at all. And I'm pretty confident we might have a couple 2 or 3 more. So anyways,
also on the same topic, on behalf of myself and every other YouTube, like Star Trek YouTuber out there in our little community, I thank you for watching our videos.
I love
you take the time to go watching our videos and you like them, you enjoy them, and it's great. We have at least one fan, and it's you. It's awesome.
It's true, and that's why I don't have time to go watch like Doomcock or any
You
of
don't
the
need that
other.
time anyway. Come on, you could watch anything else. Come on.
It's true. No, but I have very limited time, especially this week since I was traveling so much. Anyways, I'm back now, and we're back, and thank yous all around. And Rascals. It starts out with Captain Picard, Keiko, Ensign Rowe, and Guinan on a shuttlecraft heading back from like some beautiful destination where Picard spent the whole time excavating pottery from a cave, and Guinan's kind of just like a little baffled by this. She's like, "You were on one of the most beautifully regarded planets, and all you did was stay in a cave." And he's just so happy. He's
hype. Loves that cave.
He's so hype. He's so, to use a modern word, he's so
found the broken pot.
Look at the condition, Guinan. And she makes that joke about her father being 700 years old and also in good condition. World building, indeed. Anyways, some kind of crazy shit starts happening to their shuttle, and they're just within transporter range of the Enterprise. There's like an electrical field or something. It's like all hands abandon ship, all hands abandon ship. Anyway, they get transported out in the nick of time, but something happens, and when they rematerialize, they appear to be children. And we find they are children. In fact, they're they're the child versions of themselves. And so what actually happened was that some kind of interference. Some kind of interference. Yes, so some kind of interference occurred that caused two like distinct genetic markers or something to like be removed, which reverted them all back to those ages. Anyways, the show goes on to explore what it's like to be a child, but with your adult experiences intact, and each of the characters deal with it a different way. And then we're invaded by the Ferengi, who stage an attack on the Enterprise, hoping to salvage her technology and commandeer her. And apparently they've been successful with the Klingons because they have
like 2 or 3 birds of prey or something.
Yeah, exactly. So they're about to do the same thing here.
Federation. This is right. This is the most experienced crew Starfleet has to offer.
But come on, they were emotionally compromised by their captain being reverted to a child. Anyway, there was a lot going on. It's a big deal. What's that?
It was shook. That's what's going on.
So anyways, the Ferengi managed to commandeer and take control of the Enterprise, but one thing that they didn't account for is that there's 4 capable adults that have been shrunk down into children, and one of them happens to be Captain Picard. And then we get like a little, some fun action as the kid crew retakes the ship, and the episode ends with that, and also Crusher seems to have an idea about how she can get everyone back, and so she does her magic, and they put Captain Picard goes first, and he comes back as normal. And we have a cute moment with Ro at the end where she didn't have the best childhood the first time around. I have allergies. She didn't have the best childhood the first time around, so she gets to have a little bit of that this time around. And so we had a touching moment of her drawing a picture of her mom. And that's it. I think I covered everything, right?
Holy shit. That was
a big thing.
That was a beautiful summary. I just want to say that Anthony and Joe Russo, directors and writers of the Winter Soldier and Endgame, have teamed up with Netflix and Wizards of the Coast to do a Magic the Gathering anime series.
Wow.
And I am blown away by this news. There you go.
Computer, shut off access to Sean's computer. He's definitely not paying attention.
No,
and
I just
not only
updated
did you,
the Twitter.
not only did you have like a wonderful reaction, but here I was expecting Picard news, and you made it totally irrelevant to the show. It's not even about Star Trek. I was like, oh, that's great. Okay, no one in this audience cares about.
No one cares.
Magic the Gathering.
Maybe no one cares.
I played Magic the Gathering as a kid. I actually was there when it was invented, and I played it since the beginning, so I am interested, but it's not relevant. It's not relevant.
It is not relevant.
You went too far, sir. You went too far.
Time out.
Time out. I thought the show had a really cool concept. I thought that it was interesting. We're trying really hard to not get distracted on this episode, but Sean's gonna keep telling us about these bombshell news drops.
About random news drops about
random things. Shit, Donald Trump is having tea with the Queen of England, which actually is true. He is.
It was a tornado.
There was
like really close to where I live.
Oh, what? In Montreal?
Not Montreal, but in Gatineau, which is like a city not too far. So, and that happened apparently today, this morning.
But I've never ever heard of tornadoes up in that.
Neither have I, and I didn't know. And apparently, it's not a common thing, so people are a bit, astounded. From what I gather, no one's dead, and they're like, there hasn't been any major destruction, but it's kind of unheard of. So,
when was the last tornado in that area?
Like, I haven't done my research. I'm just trying to drop bombshells here. I'm just trying to.
You actually got
you don't care about.
I got your hook. It was the Q killing their own.
Oh no! Oh wow! You reckon they were Q living not that far away from me? Wrong episode. Sir.
Yeah, I reckon they were about to convert you. They were about to convert you into a Q.
You can't.
And then the Continuum decided he can't
can't
stay on the subject.
You can't retroactively reference. It doesn't work like that. We're talking about this episode.
We can't do that. All right, fine.
I don't know. It's your show. You make up the rules.
That I do. It's true.
We're not allowed to talk about future shows. Is that it? Is that the rule?
Actually, it's been established since the beginning that the entirety of Star Trek can be brought in for any conversation. Anything.
All of it.
If it's if it's relevant. So if you're not, that's why the audience, the true audience for the show is really, the true audience for the show is, if you're not looking for spoilers, this is the worst show to watch. So we should take this moment to say that there are always spoilers on Starfleet Boy. Constant spoilers galore.
Han Solo dies.
Now you're just being a dick.
All right, let me drop some actual news about this episode. The kid that plays Jean-Luc Picard young is Rene. Yes. In the episode Family, and I thought that was nice. And I think he's a good actor.
He is.
All right, episode,
he's very convincing as a young. Actually, all of them are very.
There's no doubt in my mind that these are the young characters.
Right.
They were very good actors. They portrayed the adults very, very well. And I mean, in my latest Discovery review, I go over how they have this guest actor come in and he plays the role of Control, and we can't dismiss that. That's a very complicated thing to do. The guest actor is not just playing a new character. The guest actor is playing a character that we've seen in multiple episodes, so he has to be believable as the same character. And I think that it's the same thing here. You get all these 4 kids that have to play characters that we've been following for 6 years now,
right?
And they have to be. We have to believe that they are. And there was, from day one when I saw this episode as a kid, I have never doubted that they were the adults, young. Excellent. I love this episode.
I agree.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people in the community that, from what I gather, don't like this episode, and I agree that it's far-fetched and it's really kind of stupid how easily the Ferengi not only take the ship but also lose it.
Right?
But I don't know. The whole transporter thing works, and for someone that I never really liked kids. And I don't really like seeing kids on screen, because I always find them a bit awkward. They're hard to direct. They never really in it. I think this episode, astonishingly, is one of the episodes that I really love.
It's one of those episodes where it could have been actually a really perfect episode, but the points that you brought up, I think, are what diminished the episode. It's like the whole Ferengi plot. I think that we're still in that phase in Next Generation where the Ferengi are comedy relief. They're like a comic relief. Like they're not really like taken seriously by the show itself. And so I think that's unfortunate. But not Quark changes all of that, I think, and really gives a new life to all Ferengi, Quark and team on DS9.
This episode in a Deep Space Nine era, this concept in more of a Deep Space Nine era, not necessarily set on Deep Space Nine, but at a time where Quark and the Ferengi were taken very seriously, would have worked a lot better.
Right.
I think that's the problem with the script. They didn't work the enemy right.
I agree about that as well. And I also think that I would have even taken like a generic, like the same people that tried to commandeer the Enterprise before. Remember where they convinced they somehow incapacitated the crew and wiped all their memories. Remember those people? It would have been great if it was them trying again. Like this is like, oh shit, we're trying again. But they're
that could make sense. It's like it could be a running joke too. It's like every time you need like a kind of alien that takes over the ship, why not use the same guys? They're always coming back and they want more. They want to try.
They want more, yeah, exactly. But they get foiled again because this time it was
again. It becomes kind of like a series of
right. I guess
events.
Wow.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
The communique that never came. No, I did not see that coming at all. It threw me. I was so focused on Star Trek, and then now I'm like, oh, the Baudelaire children. Great. By the way, Baby on the Tube could easily play the part of the baby. She's so cute. Just saying.
She thinks she'll watch this one day. She'll be like 20 years old watching this.
Oh my god, that'll be really weird. Hi, Baby on the Tube. You are no longer a baby. That's weird. Okay.
Time travel.
Time travel. That's what we're doing here on Starfleet Boy every day. We are time traveling back to the episode. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, since we're kind of on this topic of like awkwardness and so on and so forth, I thought, although I don't disagree with any of it, I was so uncomfortable during the Molly O'Brien family sequence where she and Miles are trying to figure out their relationship, as well as like Molly rejecting her. It was such a sad scene. I was like, but that's what would happen. What if you were suddenly like reverted to a 12-year-old boy? How could you expect your wife to take you seriously as like a husband?
She doesn't understand the technobabble. Like she doesn't understand the shenanigans that are going on. Like an adult can kind of comprehend that you've been transformed, and but I like the scenes with Molly, and I like the scenes with O'Brien. I don't know. I think that some people have some problems with them, but I think that it's clear that Keiko was chosen as a character because she has that relationship, because she's wife and mother, and so she was chosen because they wanted to show that awkwardness, and they wanted to show how
pretty real. I mean, like none of the other characters have a significant other, so they can just like wait until they grow up.
You can. I'll talk about at some point. Like I'll just wait and become like a captain again or something. But yeah, no, I liked that. I think it was good. I think it was good to showcase that.
We get a little glimpse as to what kind of at this point in time, at least, what kind of like state of mind Picard would be in if he had to actually like go through that. And he says like, I don't think I would go back to the academy. He's like, it sounds appealing, but I want to keep going forward. And like, so and you could tell in that scene also, he's like, but what about the Enterprise? He's very torn, but what does appeal to him is the archaeology. And I wonder if that's something that we'll see in the Picard show. What do you think? Like, no one knows what's going on at this point, but do you think like being a vintner is his only thing, or does he kind of manage it and then still go off on excavations or give lectures about archaeology or things like that? We'll find out.
I think he still has archaeology as a pastime, and and the vineyard is his job, or the other way around. It doesn't matter. I think he's doing both. I think that after clearly the expedition that they're talking about is him saving people from Romulus. He's saved a lot of Romulans' lives. But I think something went wrong with that mission. I think Cabal, whatever his name is, he's like that Romulan kid, and he's so focused on helping Picard and helping him on his mission because he considers Picard like a savior or something. And I think that
he's Captain Picard's estranged son with Commander Denatra from and so he's always wanted a family, but now his family is Romulan.
Tell the Picard from TNG that. No, but I think that the story will involve a lot of archaeology, because there's something about this whole thing where, like, I feel like they're going to go and look for an artifact of some kind that can help them maybe reunite the Romulan people, or that can help them in some way. And I think that Picard has this noble cause for finding this object or whatever, but that the team of misfits, or the band of people that he's with, the band of rascals that he's with, that they all have their own motives, right?
Right, of course.
That's what I'm sensing.
I want to be in his band of rascals.
I mean, who wouldn't? I
think Trek on the Tube and Starfleet should be cameo. Can't make cameo appearances. They should do it.
Really cool. They should do that. They should get like all of these content creators and just cameo them. That'd be fun.
I think we should be actually cameoed when they're like, one of the characters could be doing research on YouTube, and they flash us all
yeah.
so we can be in context within the Star Trek universes.
And like, do we make sense though, or are we not, like, considering we talk about Star Trek, would we not be the only channels that they can't cameo in Star Trek?
No, of course they can. Of course they can. They'd have to blur your background, but mine is pretty innocuous.
In the Star Trek universe, we're talking about something else. We're talking about Space Fleet or whatever.
Space Fleet, which is there is a show. There's got to be a Star Trek in Star Trek. There's got to be a Star Trek show in Star Trek. Actually,
you reckon?
We all know that the real Star Trek, the real life Star Trek, will be inspired by the show Star Trek. And in that real life, people will always reference Star Trek. So they've got to be. There should have had something built in to Star Trek, like Space Fleet. Like it should have been there. But of course, TV's never really touched on, which is part of the great thing. That's what's that?
Solar Voyages.
Until Voyager.
Solar Voyages.
So extra. It has to be extra solar.
Extra solar Voyages.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about the Ferengi part. Do you?
Oh my god,
I have nothing to say about it.
I don't know. I don't like these Ferengi. I don't like the Ferengi that hiss and whip in the first time we see them, and I don't really like the way that Ferengis are portrayed in TNG, generally speaking. But I mean, they're working towards making the race more believable. They're working, it's all building blocks, I suppose. But I think that's the letdown of the episode, because the concept is all. You all right?
Yeah, I sprayed coffee everywhere, but I'm okay.
Are you dying?
Party foul. Starfleet boy party foul.
My god. No,
carry on.
I think the concept of the episode is good. I think the performances are great. It's just that there's no, like, the threat is kind of weird. The Ferengi are able to commandeer this ship way too quick. They're used in a comedic manner. I like the idea of having kids like these crew members transformed into kids using the other kids. Like they use Alexander.
Yeah.
And like he creates this like crew of children. It's real fun.
It is.
But they should have reworked the script a bit to include like a bigger threat, or maybe just take away any kind of threat and just played with it in a more like just call it, like, use it as a fun episode straight up.
Yeah, I bet they could have filled it up with some more stories and gags and like fleshed it out a little bit more. But I do think though that
I'll go full on drama. Just take it down drama road.
Yeah, drama road. Wouldn't it be funny if it went on for like a few episodes, like by today's TV standards, if serial
that would have been fun. Have it like an arc. Have it like a season arc of like 3 or 4 episodes. Just to give. It would have been awesome. We would have had Riker in command for a few episodes. You could have seen how that pans out. And Rowan Guinan work really well.
Yeah, I think Guinan is just like a great character in general. I think I love how she is alien, so she's always asking questions to the other characters about their specific, experiences with whatever they are. And I think that like she's also very mysterious. They do a great job during the entirety of the show of keeping her origins like just juicy enough, where you just know enough about her. And I like that she got Ro to kind of realize that, maybe she was taking life a little bit too seriously, even though she's had some pretty bad experiences growing up. That was one moment where Deanna, when she says like, "Oh, so many people would envy you being able to, do it all over again without the pain of growing up." And that's kind of a truth. I think it's a fantasy that a lot of people have. Even if you have a life with very little or few regrets, you're always like, if I had a chance to do it all again, I would totally, do things differently. For example, investing lots and lots of all my spare change in Apple in the 80s would have yielded amazing results for me now in my 40s.
Very true. Very true. You could have invested in Bitcoin and then sold it in 2017 or 2016 or whatever.
Well, yeah, and actually, I'm talking about going back in time, but they're not actually. This is even different.
This is wrong.
Yeah, this is
wrong, sir.
Wrong. I was wrong. This is totally different. This would be like
you becoming young now.
Young now,
and horrible because you'd have to start dabbing and everything.
That's true. Oh yeah, but like, could you take like your credentials?
You'd have to go on what's the TikTok app or whatever. Yeah, it'd be horrible.
What is that? What is the TikTok app?
I don't know. It's big. People talk about it. You don't know this?
No. What is it?
I'm younger than you, so I'm supposed to know more, but I don't know enough. If there's any audience members that are like 12 or something, tell us.
Tell us about the TikTok app.
I barely know the Snapchat. My wife uses it.
Oh, she does?
I don't.
She should follow me on Snapchat. There's a Starfleet Boy account, but I don't know how to log into it. So I'll send.
I barely know how to upload my videos on YouTube. Like they keep on changing the button. They're adding new options to it. Like don't change YouTube too much, please.
It's true. I do like the new buttons, actually. Personally,
you like the new buttons?
Yes, I do.
You're one that you appreciate change. I don't.
I like the Creative Studio YouTube. Thank you. It's really cool.
The YouTube Studio. I hate that.
I almost spit my coffee again. You almost.
It's not my objective.
All right. Memorable quotes from this episode of Throw
quotes?
Yes.
What is this? Is this a new segment?
Actually, it's an old site. We used to go to Memory Alpha and do this way back in the beginning of Starfleet.
Back in the day.
Yeah. This episode reminded me of all the
not
things.
My Starfleet Boy.
What's
hashtag not my Starfleet Boy.
Oh, good grief. You made me forget my memorable.
You're memorable. Oh yeah, real memorable.
Oh, I like the sequence. That's why I go through the memorable quotes, because they remind you of the memorable sequences. I like the sequence where Picard had no other choice to get command control of the computer, that he had to like literally act like a kid to see Riker, and how they improvised being father and son. That's a classic moment. I thought that was cool.
It is. He's very believable as Riker's son as well.
He does a good job. Well, Picard does have an acting interest, as we know.
He's coaching, him and Data.
Yeah, he's coaching Data.
Fair enough.
It suggests he's a performer himself. Let's see. All right, that's it, folks.
That's that's the memorable moment from the entire episode.
That's it.
It speaks a lot to it. But okay, it's not the best episode, right? It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's fun. I don't like the shuttle shake that they have in the beginning. I think that's a bit shit. But
here's a very young Adam Nimoy directing.
A very young Jean-Luc Picard, a very young Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yep. Well, you got it right the first time.
They went back in time and got Sir Patrick Stewart as a kid.
They actually reversed him.
They actually reversed him. That's what happens.
You're out of control, sir. Yes, that's a cool photo. That's on Memory Alpha. In case anyone wants to go take a look at it. So continuity, since we like the word continuity more than canon here at Starfleet Boy, there is a reference to the episode in Deep Space. You saw how I did that just so casually and informally, right? Like it didn't invite any debate.
For the record, we here at Starfleet Boy, when it is said, does not necessarily include the guests and co-hosts.
That's true. That's
I'm just saying, right?
The opinions of Starfleet Boy are those of Starfleet Boy alone, and no one else's. There is a reference to the episode in the Deep Space Nine 4th season episode Bar Association. In that episode, Odo cites the case of the Ferengi invaders as an example of a security breach aboard the Enterprise D.
Does he? Okay.
Apparently he does. Have you gotten that far yet? 4th season?
Oh yeah, well past that now.
That's it, and you didn't notice it.
I didn't catch that one. I didn't catch it.
2 shots of the battle against the Bird of Prey were reused from yesterday's Enterprise. I did wonder.
Okay, I didn't recognize that.
Captain Kirk and crew had undergone a similar change, reverting to children in the Star Trek the Animated Series episode, The Counterclock Incident. Did you see that one? I don't remember that. I don't recall that.
Yeah, it's in like the 2nd season, I think it is, The Counterclock Incident. The Counterclock Incident. I think it's in the 2nd season. Yeah, there you go. It's the one where there's not Pike, but the one before that, Captain of the Robert April. It's not a very memorable episode.
Gotcha.
I gotta say. I remember it existing, but not so much like what's going on in it.
Picard, pretending to be Riker's son, recalls the episode Future Imperfect, in which Riker had a son named Jean-Luc in a holographic simulation of the Enterprise D. We did know that.
I remember
the episode, Miles O'Brien shares a coffee with Keiko in the late evening. By the Deep Space Nine 2nd season episode Armageddon Game, Keiko had apparently forgotten that Miles occasionally has coffee in the day. Interesting. She had apparently forgotten. It's not the same Keiko. Something got screwed up in the transporter.
Well, he says yes, he does take the coffee, but he doesn't drink it.
Indeed.
No one drinks it. But then I suppose you can just resynthesize it, put it back into the what's it called? Replicator.
How did their uniforms shrink as well?
Okay, so that's a problem, isn't it? the uniforms shrink, and they shouldn't have. They should have been.
Right.
They should have then put them in kid clothes, or replicated.
Right, they should have been baggy, right? Like
yeah, this doesn't work.
Or like they should have reverted back to like plants, right? Like or whatever cotton.
No, that makes no sense. That's even more.
That's too much. Yeah, that's too much.
I mean, it makes sense for like biological beings to revert. Well, it makes sense. They made it make sense, but I mean, the clothes shouldn't have shrunk. That was a bit dumb. There's a lot of problems with this episode. It's got plenty of little issues, but I mean, you just roll with it because it's fun.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, time for ratings. I give this episode a 6.5. I actually really enjoyed all the kid parts. I enjoyed the science parts. We didn't even really go over how Geordi and O'Brien are trying to figure out the mystery of what happened to the shuttlecraft, and that gives Dr. Crusher the additional clues, and how there was all this teamwork going on to reverse the problem. Because the Ferengi were so bad, I forgot about those things. And I really wish I could give this episode a higher rating, but for me, it kind of settles there, just because the one story is so interesting, but the other story is so trite. So it kind of balances it out. Poor. All right, so that's my rating, and I'm sticking to it. How about you?
I agree, 6.5.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, like, it's just because I really love this episode. It's just there's emotion involved with the rating here. On paper, it's not that good, but I love it. I love it, and that's why it gets a higher rating. It's like Kong Skull Island, which I just watched. It's not a very good movie, but I enjoyed it. Sometimes you enjoy things even though they're not that good. And so yeah,
it's the X factor. That's the like the.
Hey, look, sometimes you like things. I know that everyone hated The Mummy from 2017. I didn't hate it.
Was that the Tom Cruise Mummy?
That's the Tom Cruise Mummy, the Alex Kurtzman's Mummy.
Oh,
I think it's not that bad. Hey, look. I mean, people have to go back and watch The Mummy 3, the friggin' Emperor Tomb Emperor Dragon thing. That was bullshit.
I already lost. I think I lost interest at The Mummy 1, so I never followed up on
interest at The Mummy 1.
Yes,
my boy Brendan.
I love Brendan Fraser, and that's the only reason I watched all of them.
And you lost interest? How dare you, sir?
But I had no interest since part 1. I was like, I'm just going to watch this for Brendan Fraser. He's cool.
Oh my god! And then part 2 has The Rock.
Right, and there's a Scorpion King spinoff. I mean, yeah, I know all the things that happen. Like I said, Brendan got me. It'd be like if you were in The Mummy. I would watch it for you.
You'd watch it for me?
I would. I would totally watch it for you.
Am I the mummy or am I the hero here?
You should be the hero. You could be the. You'd make a good hero.
Am I the comic relief?
You'd make a great reluctant hero, like the guy who's like, I don't want to be involved in this, but then he ends up saving the world.
Commander Generic.
What?
You know, there's always like a military dude that's kind of reluctant. But he always ends up being the hero. But he's so bland, right? He's got nothing.
I wish that in the Picard show, they do a comedic bit where a generic on Andor is like a really common name, but it's spelled like with a Y. It's like it's pronounced generic, but it's like, you know, with a Y or whatever.
But when you pronounce that generic,
but he introduces himself as Commander Generic, and Picard's like, "Oh, surely not." There's nothing generic about you.
Oh my god! I'm glad you're not writing the Picard show.
Yeah, it would not be a productive enterprise.
Cringe humor.
If I were directing if I were in charge of the Picard show, unfortunately, it would be very, it would be all cerebral. or a dark comedy.
Too much Beverly Crusher. There would be too much Beverly Crusher.
It's true.
I don't want that character. I agree that maybe they should resolve.
Wait, audience, we're now finished with the TNG discussion, and we're now officially in our Picard, in our ongoing Picard speculation.
If you want to hear the whole discussion, you have to listen to like the 5 last discussions. You know what's going on.
But I would totally. My problem is I would probably like take it in the direction of Blood Talk in space.
I've never seen
Picard.
Is that good?
It's so good. You should just look up. You should pause this video, audience, and go look up clips from the show Blood Talk. It's outrageous. No, of course you can't have.
What is it? Is it a sitcom?
It was a short-lived, I think, 2-season sitcom. Not I think I know, because I have both seasons.
My understanding of this is that Sir Patrick Stewart plays the role of Mr. Blunt or whatever, and he's a
commentator. He's he's like a political or just a commentator on a cable channel.
My impression was completely wrong. Why was I under the impression that he was like a taxi driver, and that he would talk smack to people in his taxi?
I mean, Sir Patrick Stewart could do that really well. I'm sure it'd be great.
That's not the show.
No, it's not the show. But Patrick's son, Daniel Stewart, is also on the show. He appears in a couple of episodes, and
Renee.
No, that's not the same person.
I'm just trying to mess with you.
He's
I don't know who Daniel Stewart is.
What's his name on the Inner Light? He plays the
guy screaming Papa. Daniel Stewart. That's his son. Okay.
Yeah, and he plays
he does son in the Inner Light.
Light, correct. Yes.
Bataille. He kind of looks like that guy from Prison Break now.
Well, anyways, Blood
Brother from Prison Break.
Blood Talk is very funny, and it actually highlights how funny Patrick Stewart can be. As a comedian, he's great. His timing and everything is awesome.
Okay, so this is worth watching.
Oh yeah, for a laugh. If you're looking for serious drama, you'll be disappointed. But if you're looking for a laugh, it's quite great. And it borders, it delightfully borders on the inappropriate. So it's that kind of humor. Maybe it even crosses the line. Maybe my threshold's a little larger than most people's, but it's great. You should check it out.
I suppose. Okay. Maybe. It's short-lived. Okay, so it's 20 episodes. So that's not a lot to go through if anyone's interested. I might watch it.
Check out the clips on YouTube at the very least. They're very funny. All right. So any other news? Should you like to promote your latest video?
Well, I just did my episode 12 of season 2 review for Star Trek Discovery. So I'm a bit late, but I'm catching up. And next video will be probably, because there's no big news to talk about at this point. I'm not going to do updates for like every small speck of news that we get. But next video should be my review of episodes 13 and 14. I'm doing one video.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've decided to do this. I've decided to do that for episodes that have the same title. So parts 1 and parts 2.
I hope your review episode is longer than your normal format, because I think audiences would be very disappointed if you shortened your episode and condensed it into a smaller episode than normal.
I think it probably would be longer, because I'm just going to talk about both episodes. But I feel like double like 2-part episodes that have different titles, different names, are intended to be like 2 episodes but that follow each other.
Right.
Whereas one episode that has the same title, parts 1 and parts 2, I feel like they are meant to be one story, but it's just that the format doesn't permit them to pull them out as 2 hours of content.
Right.
So like Time Zero parts 1 and 2, I would review as one episode because it is one story. And most of the time, like the first one is just set up for the second episode, so it's really hard to talk about like the first part really because it's just set up. So yeah, but yeah, probably the video will be longer.
I wanted to do that. Oh, I don't know what's going on with these allergies. I was away
crying, sneezing, you're coughing,
it's all there. So I was away from I mean, I was originally contemplating doing that with Starfleet Boy, but we thought a season break is a good point to cut anyway. So
fair enough.
That's why, and most of the two-parters happen at the season breaks. But I think we did all the 2-parters that are within the season. We've done them as though they're one episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, that's very true because like if I start reviewing these, like all of these shows on my channel eventually, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to have to review Time Zero, for example, as one episode.
Right.
And then following that, I'm going to have to release basically my season, whatever it is, 3 recap or review.
Right.
And so it is a bit awkward. But Voyager has a lot of 2-part episodes that like mid-season. They're in the middle of the season. And they're great.
I can't wait.
We're not there yet. I am not there yet.
Well, thank you. I look forward to looking. I went actually and caught up. I was able to see the Time Crystal episode review. What is that episode called again?
Through the Valley of Shadows.
The Valley of Shadows. That's right. And I really liked your review. So audience, go check it out. And now I'm going to go catch up on some more YouTubing. And until next time, it was wonderful, Sean, to see you. It was wonderful, audience. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.